Hey everyone, welcome to the MIA log. I'm your host, MIA. A lot of people ask me what does MIA stand for. It's not missing in action, I can tell you that much. If you know my government name, it's pretty much my government name in action. Good luck finding that out. In this video, we're going to be talking about the Alienware x14. Now, before we get started in this video, I want to tell you, I'm not going to be doing a performance test or seeing how well this device performs under certain stress levels or whatever. The device I actually have is a pre-production model. I've been actually provided this by Alienware thanks to my other jobs that I have ahead of the device actually being released. What we're going to touch on in this video is actually the design aspects and the benefits of what Alienware have actually done to the X14 to benefit the user, which in this case would be you, the person watching this video right now. So I hope you find this video useful, and if you do, please help this channel grow by hitting that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything and it will really help me out by getting to the point I want to get this channel to. And my aim is to really just offer you, the viewers of my channel, the best advice I can give you with the extensive amount of knowledge I have. I have extensive knowledge in automotive technology. I think that's where it stops. But yeah, I've got a vast amount of experience and knowledge that I would love to share with all of you. And as always, if you have any questions regarding anything that I go through today, or if you have any questions regarding performance, please do leave them in the comment section below and I'll try and get back to you as quick as I can. Without wasting any more of your time, let's get to the Alienware M14. No, it's not the M14, the Alienware X14 overview. Right, so here is the box. It's actually relatively small. I won't need my trusty switchblade today since I've already kind of opened it and I already had a look inside to see what it's like. And so I just want to share this experience with you just to show you what to kind of expect. And again, like I said, this is a pre-production model, so this may not be what it looks like when you get your final product. So let's open it up. And straight away you're presented with the Alienware X series new box. Now they've switched over to this new box because it's more eco-friendly. It's got much more recycled, well, I think it's majority made out of recycled packaging now, which means it's kind of the earth. So let's get it out. It's much slimmer than I was expecting, to be honest, in terms of the box itself. So we're just going to put this to the side for a second. Also inside the box you get the cable, the power brick. It is now USB type C. You've got a 130 watt power brick, and like I mentioned, this may not be the packaging you get in the UK, so it may differ, but let's get this out of the way now so we can actually look at the product. So the device itself, as I mentioned, is now inside this quite neat looking box. So here we have the world's thinnest 14-inch gaming laptop. Now Alienware's achieved this by, well, through multiple patents and multiple inventions that they've actually come up with and innovations to allow them to achieve this thinness in their device. Now the way you open this box is quite cool. You literally just lift that side up, then lift that side up, and you're presented with the device itself. And it's following the same Alienware Legend ID, which we'll touch on very shortly in a bit. But you've got the whole 14 cut out over here, or this laser engraving of the Alienware 14 to let you know which model you have. So if we just take this device out of the box, you're then presented with the pamphlet that you get inside every single Alienware machine, although yours will have a welcome to the Alienware Club document inside here. And inside, this is following the same structure as the XPS range, where the plastic inside the actual box itself is actually made up of 100% recycled plastic, 25% of which is ocean-bound material. So they're actually going out into the ocean, clearing up the ocean and creating the plastic inlays for their machines out of that retrieved plastic. For those of you who don't know, they're saying by the time 2050 comes around, if we make it that far that is, there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish, unless something is changed in the way that we are treating, the way that we're managing the waste being put out into the ocean. So that's good to know that that's happening in Alienware as well as Dell devices as well now. So quite neat, and again, it's a box you're going to want to keep because it actually feels very premium, just as premium as the device itself. So let's have a quick, oh wow, this is actually really thin. When I first picked it up, I didn't actually realize how thin it was when I moved out of the way. Now looking at it, it's actually super thin. That's actually pretty cool. So just to give you an idea of how thin this is the battery brick. The battery brick is twice the thickness almost of the laptop. So this device is really thin. Now usually when I see thin laptops, I straight away go to the point of, you know what, there's going to be issues with performance on this. That is not the case with the X series because of the amount of innovations they've actually put into this machine to help it achieve its maximum performance still within that small chassis. So one of the key differences between the generations of the previous X series that were about, I'm talking about the X15 and the X17, which came out mid last year. There've been a couple of design changes. For example, now this back plate over here is matched with the color of the device itself. Before, this used to be a darker color compared to the actual plate of the machine and the bottom of the machine. And over here again, it's telling me that's a pre-production model. Down here, your laptops will not have this sticker based on it. Now, how you can identify whether it's the X series or the M series is that the X series will only come in lunar light and the M series will come in dark side of the moon, which is their grey. Another design factor that they have on the devices, this is what they call the dark core. So it's basically the divide between the color of the actual laptop itself and the dark core, which is the inlays of the machine, which will kind of help the user focus on what's important to them, meaning the keyboard and the screen. Where before, if you went for the lunar light version, the whole device would literally be lunar light. So this would be lunar light along with the palm rest, the keyboard and the screen frame as well. So that has been done to actually help the user's focus. Before we open the device, let's have a quick look at what ports it offers the user. So on the back, you have a USB Type-C charger, headphone jack, HDMI port, USB Type-A, a micro SD card slot, and 2 USB Type-C ports, which are Thunderbolt as well, which is good to know. And on the side, it's completely clean. You don't have any other ports on the side either. So let's open this machine up now. So it's already been powered up, which is good to know. So as I mentioned earlier before, the whole dark core feature that they're going with is the whole, you see how this is all black now to represent the dark core, which again allows you to focus more on the keyboard, focus more on the screen, rather it being the same color as the frame of the body itself. Another cool feature that comes along with this device is Windows Hello is actually in this extremely thin 14-inch device. So again, they've put a lot of innovations in here, along with some key features that Microsoft are very keen to shout about. One key feature that I love on the Alienware X series is this whole media keys along the right over here. This is actually something that I use very often when I'm gaming, and that is, well, mainly I use the mute mic. For those of you who know, I do have a son, and sometimes he will bust into the room screaming like a dinosaur, and I don't really want my friends to be hearing that, because then they'll be like, what the hell's going on? So there is a quick tab over here to turn that feature on and off, so you can actually mute and unmute the mic, and I'm not sure if you can see that, but there is a light that turns on when the mic is muted and when you unmute the mic. There's also a mute function for the speakers as well, so if you need to make sure everything just goes quiet very quickly, you simply just tap that, and again there's a light indicator to tell you that you've now muted your microphone. So these media keys along the side, super useful, really handy, and yeah, something that I would like to see going forward in gaming machines. This device also has Dolby Vision and Dolby Sound. So basically what that means is, for those of you who don't know, Dolby Atmos actually work with the creators of content, games, and what they do is they provide the profiles for those contents that they create to Alienware, and they say, okay, you can now implement this into your machine, and then the user of that machine will then view the content as it was intended to be viewed. So whenever you see Dolby certified or anything like that, that means you're getting the true representation of how the creators of that content wanted that piece of content to be portrayed and shown as to the viewer. Sticking on that subject of Dolby Vision and all of that, a cool thing about the X14 is that on media playback, this device can actually achieve up to 11 hours of video playback, and one of the ways that it actually achieves this is because this is actually the world's first 14-inch laptop to actually have G-Sync, but that's not how it achieves that 11-hour playback. The way it achieves it is actually because it has a advanced Optimus or a hardware mux switch. Now what the hardware mux switch basically means is that inside here is a dedicated graphics card, right? It's got a dedicated GPU, and it's got the Intel graphics in here as well. What the hardware mux does is that it can switch between the two when needed, and by switching between the NVIDIA graphics card and the Intel graphics card, or the integrated Intel graphics, is that the integrated Intel graphics uses much less power. So when you're watching content or you're chatting to your friends or anything like that, and you're not playing games, it will switch over to that Intel graphics, and it will ensure that you get the much better battery life rather than it always staying on the NVIDIA graphics and that draining your power for no reason. And the best thing about that is the device does not need to be reset for it to switch. It actually does it while the device is already going. It literally works as you're going. So if you launch a game, it will automatically switch over to NVIDIA. And if you're watching films or anything like that, then it will turn the NVIDIA off and switch over to the Intel graphics. So it's a really cool feature, and it really helps that battery life expectancy of, giving you that better experience. Now, for those of you who are aware of the X series, you'll know that there's an X14, which is what this is, there's an X15, and there's an X17. One thing to note out, and one thing you need to make sure you're aware of, is that the X14 does not have the quad fan design. So the X15 and the X17 has actually 2 fans on the right and 2 fans on the left. This device does not, due to the size, and it doesn't really need it, because if you are going to buy a device for pure gaming and you want all that innovation, then you're going to go for the X15 or the X17. This is more of having a portable gaming device where you can do you can still do high quality gaming, but mainly you're after portability. And in all honesty, with the performance that this is going to provide you, which is going to be ample, you wouldn't really need that quad fan design in this machine. Now, on the laptop, you'll start noticing there's a hexagonal design on the laptop. This design over here is actually there for engineering purposes. It actually allows for better airflow and better structural rigidity for the machine, ensuring that, you get the best airflow from the machine. At the same time, it feels very solid in your hands. And when you put it down, this feels really solid, considering how small it is and everything. It's really made with premium materials, and you can really tell that when you hold it in your hands. So again, you can't see it very well through the grills over here, but you do have that hexagonal design underneath all this as well, and you've got all the speaker outlays. It's really cool the way all this air ventilation has actually been designed and implemented within this device. 2 key cool shout outs I want to give right now is, one, this device does support DDR5, and another one is, some people may be worried that this white over here might get stained. You don't have to worry about that, because Alienware and Dell are actually using a very special kind of paint on here, which is eco-friendly and is actually stain resistant. And the substance or the material that they were using to test this stain resistant is actually mustard. So they put mustard all over the thing and then literally wiped it off, and it was perfectly fine. So you don't have to worry about this device getting stained. You can rest assured that the laptop is stain resistant. So why would you go for the Alienware X series over the M series and vice versa? Well, in short, the Alienware X series is innovation first. The Alienware M series is performance first. So if you're not too fussed about the design and having something that is so beautiful and so thin like this device is, then you go for the M series. But if you want something that's thin, beautiful, and provides you like, well, great performance still, whilst giving you the latest and greatest when it comes to all the innovation that Alienware has to offer, then you go for the X series. But as I literally just mentioned, if you are after just raw performance and you're not worried about how thin the device is, then you go for the Alienware M series. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this bottom plate up and actually look inside over here and see what we can actually modify, if there is anything to modify. But before we get into that, what I'd really appreciate, if you are enjoying the content to this point, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. As I mentioned before, it doesn't cost you anything and it really helps me out and really supports my channel grow. So please do consider that. If you do want to know what tools I'm using, I'll be putting it in the description if you want to get your hands on the set as well. So literally they don't use any intricate screws or anything like that, so you literally just need these. Now according to my chart over here, this is a 2.5. Okay, it seems like these two screws over here don't come out. So what I'm going to do now is get my prying tool and just open the device up. Try use prying tools when you can to avoid any damage on the device. And voila, you have the device opened up. Now straight away I'm very happy to see that there's an M.2 that's replaceable here, and this material that you see over here, try not to touch it if you can, is a very special material that actually keeps that whole component cool. What else do we have over here? I'm not going to touch all this because it's all covered up. So it looks like the only thing you can change is the storage. So if you did want to change the storage of the device, then you're more than welcome to, just by replacing the M.2 drive that's in there. And while we're in here, it's good to see that this has an 80.5 watt-hour battery. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this looks like the largest battery ever fitted to a 14-inch gaming laptop. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, someone please comment below, but I'm pretty sure this is the largest battery I've seen inside a 14-inch gaming laptop. Now this is actually quite impressive how they've packed everything in here, and there's a lot of heat distribution factors going on. And again, they've got material all over the place to kind of help with that heat distribution. Again, the ones that you buy from retail will look slightly different to this. This is, like I said, a pre-production model, so we don't have all the thermals in place in this. So it's not a true representation of what you're going to have in your device if you buy one. But one thing you will know and one thing you will have is this replaceable M.2, which is the key thing I wanted to get out from this. So yeah, that everyone is a quick overview of the Alienware X14. To get the back case back on, you'll see that this device has a few bits that actually hang out on the end over here. Just place that down first, slide it in, and you can see that slots in very nicely, and just push down on different areas. Try to do it on a nice cushioned surface to avoid any damage, and that's pretty much it. And then get back to screwing everything back in. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Till then, peace out.